Hey, good morning, macro millionaires. We are on our growth-driven journey, and you see it today. We're talking about living a life of purpose, passion, and meaning as entrepreneurs. So today, you see it, CEO, and we're going to talk about you are the CEOs of your business. That means that you stepped into a world of leadership, and when you stepped into that world of leadership and decided to say, I am Chief Executive Officer, you had to give up a certain amount of luxuries. It's so funny because we always think about CEOs as, I don't know, driving expensive cars or living in cool homes. And I'm sure many of them do. That's great. That might be a byproduct of their leadership and them being good leaders in the entrepreneurial space. But the true CEO's sacrifice can never go unnoticed. So let's talk about chief. You are the chief to your tribe, okay? The chief doesn't get certain liberties. The buck stops with the chief. If there's a bad famine that comes through, guess who gets blamed? The chief. It's not the chief's fault, it's the weather's fault. But the chief has to be the one that makes do. So when you're leading your clients and the people in your nutrition program or whatever entrepreneurial venture you're in, you're the chief. And when you sign up to be the CEO, when you file that tax return, you're saying the buck stops with me and I take full 100% ownership, because there's no one above the chief. There's no one that the chief can blame as far as how things are going with that tribe. So it's very, very important that we understand that our fault doesn't matter. It is responsibility, and the chief takes full responsibility. Executive, okay? We are the executive. That means, again, in the business realm, we might have a board of directors that we have to advise us, and that is key. You are the executive, you make the final call, you are the chief, but who are your board of directors? And I'm gonna tell you, some of us are making the mistake of having their board of directions of people who they're the chief over. No, the chief's board of directors is not within his tribe. The chief goes out and finds other successful tribes and gets with those chiefs, and those are his board of directors. You cannot have the people, if you're the executive, you cannot have the people that give you executive counsel be people that you're leading. It doesn't work that way. Officer, okay? So we're the chief, we're the executive. With the chief, we take full responsibility. Being the executive, we need to find other people in charge of other tribes that pour into us. And then officer, okay? Officer, I look as a scope of morality. If we want to be the chief and we want to be the executive, we want to get this counsel, we have to be officers, in meaning that we have to have a good value system that transposes into our business as well as outside of business. We can't just be an officer inside our business and then outside of business we're going against those business values. Our core values and core beliefs need to be consistent in our personal lives as well as into business. Why? Because the people that we're chief over, they're seeing, especially in today's social media day, they're seeing what's going on in our personal lives. And if they see a conflict of values, then they're not going to want to be led by you as the chief for very much longer. So we stepped into being the CEOs of our lives, of our companies. We want to make sure that we implement that as the best chief we can, surround ourselves by the best executives and board of directors that we can, and have a good, strong moral compass as an officer, both personally and professionally. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you at the next morning sprint.